everybody, welcome to my homestead and welcome to my channel. My name is Jared, and what is going on here in the South? We're looking at primarily Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, the western part of Tennessee, and a few other states. This really dark area looks a little bit scary. This came on my radar. I'm recording this on the 29th, so for me it is Thursday. I'm going to post this in the morning. I came across this article called Extreme Threat. Large swath of southern U.S. at dangerous wet bulb temperature. I had never heard of this before, wet bulb temperature. I never heard of it in the military, although um, in one of these, I think it's in this one, it says that they use it in the military. So let me show you what's going on. This is for you today. This is what's going on in the southern U.S. Okay. Readings of a key indicator of heat exposure danger have reached the highest possible threat level in multiple southern states, as well as in a few states in the Midwest. So here's the chart, okay, and you can see that gray is bad. And that's what we're seeing right here, extreme. You can see these temperatures, 92, 93. These are wet bulb temperatures, and I'll explain what that is in a minute, or at least the article will. When it comes to the wet bulb temperature, nearly all of Louisiana, Mississippi, and Arkansas are under extreme threat. The wet bulb temperature measures multiple stressors on the human body in direct sunlight, not in the shade, as the heat index does. So you have the heat index. This is not the heat index. This is when the human body is in direct sunlight. That's what defines this model right here that we're looking at. Thursday's soaring temperatures marked yet another day under a deadly oppressive heat wave across the South. A heat dome over Texas that shows no signs of abating has been tied to 13 deaths in the state, including another in Louisiana, according to the Associated Press. What is the wet bulb temperature? When it's hot, humans sweat to cool off. But if the humidity is also high enough, there's a point at which sweat loses its cooling effect. All right. And I'm sure that we've probably all kind of, to one degree or another, have experienced this. I experienced this a lot when I was in the Army in Fort Lee, Virginia. I don't know what it's called now. They probably changed the name. It was really humid over there. And it was pretty humid in Texas, too. That's where I was at Fort Hood, now Fort Cavazos, because we have to erase history. But anyway, okay, the upper limit that humans can withstand was thought to be 95 degrees Fahrenheit at 100% humidity. According to a 2010 study, according to a 2010 study, new research out of Penn State University's Knoll Laboratory found that the critical limit is in fact even lower, 88 Fahrenheit at 100% humidity. So when we're looking at this, I don't know what the humidity is. It just shows the wet bulb temperature. And then it just color codes it according to this: low, elevated, moderate, high, extreme. But again, if 88 is a dangerous level at 100% humidity, it's not looking too good in these states. It's looking really bad, in fact. Again, 90, 91, 92, 93 in East Texas, and then upper central Arkansas, north central Arkansas. Okay, so the National Weather Service says the tool, this one that we're looking at right here, this tool, which it classifies as experimental, quote, is most useful for active, acclimatized people such as outdoor workers, athletes, and anyone else performing strenuous outdoor activities. It has been used for decades by military agencies, it's this article, OSHA, and marathon organizers. Let me know if you have heard of this before, of wet bulb temperatures. I never have. This is the first time. So if you're in this area, please be careful. I mean, be careful, like even in the red, anywhere. Just make sure that you're always hydrated and don't risk a heat injury. Because I'll tell you what, one thing I did learn in the military is that once you uh, once you've had a heat injury, like heat exhaustion, sunstroke, stuff like that, you're more likely to you're more prone to get it in the future. And I had a couple times where I had to get IVs because I was in bad condition. I went to the medics and I got IVs. Um, I do not do very well in the heat, and I was exposed to a lot of it in Texas. So this is a little bit scary. Now, how does this compare, like historically to and geographically to other locations, to other times? Is this rare? I wanted to find that out. I came across this article. This is climate.gov, and it's about this study that they did, um, which includes data from 1979 to 2017. So brief periods of dangerous humid heat arrive decades early. So that doesn't sound good. Okay, quote, "It's not the heat, it's the humidity," end quote. On a hot day, that expression rings true. Sticky, tropical like air makes extreme heat a greater health risk. Climate models project that combinations of heat and humidity could reach deadly thresholds for anyone spending several hours outdoors by the end of the 21st century. New research says these extremes are already happening decades before anticipated due to global warming to date. So, I would tend to think that that's what's going on here. Um, it's a dangerous situation. Let's continue. Okay, so this map. Okay, so this one right here. This map shows locations that experienced extreme heat and humidity levels briefly. So it includes the hottest 0.1% of daily maximum wet bulb temperatures from 1979 to 2017. So if you take just the top 1% of daily maximum wet bulb temperatures, this is what you get from 1979 to 2017. And so, as you might expect, along the equator, there's some dark spots here in Mexico, the Middle East, Pakistan is looking pretty bad, China. The U.S. as a whole actually doesn't look too good. There's a lot of orange, especially here in the Great Plains, but even more so in this area that we're looking at: Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas, Mississippi. So you can see it here. So this is kind of like um, a way to get a sense of where places that are bad for wet bulb temperatures. But there's more. There's more that I highlighted. Okay. So the authors of this study that put together this map, the authors identified over 7,000 past occurrences of wet bulb temperatures above 88 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay. So where are we again for you today? 93 degrees, 92, 91, and 90 wet bulb temperatures. So this goes beyond that category. It's not part of the 7,000. And that, by the way, that 88 degrees, that's 31 degrees Celsius for my international viewers. And then over 250 above 91 degrees Fahrenheit or 33 degrees Celsius. So that's a really small number uh, to my mind. For from 1979 until 2017, only 250 above 91 degrees wet bulb temperature. So this happening right here, I think that this is kind of part of a almost kind of exclusive club. There's not a whole lot of times that this happens, according to that study. And look how this plays out. So I'm going to roll this back. So the farthest back that you can go is June 29th at 10 p.m. All right, so the rest of this is basically a forecast. So you go forward. Okay, now we're on June 30th, 1 a.m. So as you would expect at nighttime, it's cool outside, and pretty much the entire country is mostly uh, under this green low category. But as the day approaches, watch this area right here that we were just looking at. It starts to heat up, it starts to heat up, and then right here is the maximum at 1 p.m. Central Time. Or maybe, well, like 1 and 2. Maybe 2 is a little bit worse. And then it starts to cool back down. Then we move into the 1st of July. And on that day, it's also pretty bad. 1 p.m. Central Time. And then it skips forward to 4 because as you go further out, it's harder to, predict what's going to happen. So, so they don't start doing it hourly as you go further out. But you get the idea. The 1st of July is not going to be good. And I guess we'll have to wait and see what actually happens, but this is what they're forecasting. July 2nd, you get some of this gray over in Georgia, South Carolina, southern North Carolina, Florida, southern Alabama. So, yeah, and then going beyond that probably gets a lot less reliable, but yeah, so this is crazy. This is crazy. Only 250. So I guess that this would be added to that if they extended this. If they extended this study beyond 2017, this would be part of this group. All right, and then it continues. In 2 stations that reported multiple daily maximum wet bulb temperatures above 95 degrees Fahrenheit. These extremes occurred for 1 to 2 hours in parts of coastal Southwest North America, South Asia, and the coastal Middle East. All right. This reminds me. I'm going to publish this one first, and then I have another video coming out today about aliens because aliens have been in the news lately, and I remember there was a Ancient Aliens that I was watching one time on the History Channel. They were talking about, okay, I'm going to see if I can find it really quick. Mexico cave with gigantic crystals. Here it is. Cave of the Crystals. That's what it's called in English, or in Spanish, Cueva de los Cristales. So this is a cave in Mexico, and you can see a person here. You can see how big these crystals are. They're very, very big. And when I was watching Ancient Aliens, they were talking about how there's that whole concept of humidity to temperature and how it's very dangerous going down there. I think they have to wear special suits, and they can only be down there for a certain amount of time. I don't know if it talks about it here in this article, but it's the same kind of situation there, where high humidity and warm temperatures under here makes it deadly if you're there for too long. But yeah, okay. Well, that's going to be it for this one. So if you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe, like this video if you liked it, leave your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Also make sure to share it, and I'll talk to you guys later.